morning. Welcome to Joy in Our Town. I'm your host, Lorene Tanaka. We are here with Alan Aquina. He is the CEO of 101 Financial. Thank you so much, Alan, for being here.
Good to be here, Lorene.
Okay, so we spent our money during the holiday season, used our credit cards. How does credit card use affect one's credit, if you will? How does it affect their credit score? Give us a little bit of background on that.
Well, before I jump into that,
Okay.
I'll just say that this is a very emotional time because we just came off a great holiday season, joy and fun.
Yes.
And now it's back to reality because the
Yeah.
credit card bills are coming and all the things that we bought, we now got to figure out how to pay for it. So most people over the holiday season probably use their good old credit cards to make these purchases. Now what?
Exactly.
Now what do we do,
Exactly.
right? So that's why I want to be able to share some information that might be able to help your viewers with dealing with this this crazy time of year, the stress. Some of us may have put a little bit too much on that card, but hey, it's okay. It is what it is, and we need to deal with it.
Okay.
So the first thing I suggest is to get that statement.
Okay.
Pull that statement. Open up that envelope. Don't be afraid of it. A lot of people
Put it
are
on the side. We keep putting it on the side.
Don't open it. We'll open it later. But please open it.
Okay.
Look at it. See where you're at. See what your final bill is. When the due date is. Then go back to your budget. Look at your budget. See how much you have left over after all of your expenses, and how much extra you can pay towards that bill. I suggest trying to pay that credit card off as fast as you possibly can. You don't want to carry it because the average interest rate on most credit cards are in the high double digits, 14% and up. Somewhere is
Wow.
up to 20+%. So makes sense to try to pay that off as quickly as possible and not carry that balance too long.
Okay. Should they, of course, you look at your balance and it's part principal and part interest. Should they be paying more than the minimum that's listed if they can, or just stick with the minimum?
Absolutely. The minimum usually is going to average about 2 to 3% of your balance.
Okay.
So if you're only paying 2 to 3% off your balance, for example, a $2,000 balance, if you just made the minimum payment, it would take you over 18 years to pay it off.
Because all this interest is accruing on the
Because
balance.
the interest is accruing. Every single day, interest is accruing based on your outstanding balance. And so it continues to grow. It's like a child grows into an adult, turns 18, right? 18 years old, from nothing to 18. So we want to be able to take care of that as soon as possible. So look at your minimum.
Okay.
Definitely pay the minimum.
Okay.
But through your budget, take anything left over and apply that extra amount towards the highest interest credit card first.
Even if it's just $5.
Even if it's just $5.
It'll make a difference?
It'll make a difference because
Okay.
we're not looking at the payment.
Okay.
We want to look at the interest rates. A lot of people get confused. Okay, do I just pay the minimum, or do I pay the one with the smallest payment first, or
Right.
the biggest payment? I always say the best, the most efficient thing to do when paying off debt is to go after the one with the highest interest rate first. Pay minimums to your other debts,
Okay.
then attack with everything you got from your budget, that extra money, and put it towards your principal over and above the minimum payment.
Okay. So should you include that over and above amount with your minimum payment, or should you pay the minimum and then send another payment in within the month?
You can do it at that same time.
Okay.
But I would also caution you, a lot of credit card companies will take that extra amount and apply it towards a future payment. We don't want that. That's not a good thing. They'll call you back in 3 months and say, hey, Mr. Aquina, great news. You don't have to make another credit card payment for a couple months. And we're like, why? Well, we took all those extra payments and applied it to your future payments. We don't want that. We want all that extra money to go to the principal right now.
Okay, so say they did that. What do you do as the consumer?
You got to get on the phone with
Okay.
a manager
Okay.
of that credit card company and demand that they go back and retroactive your payment to apply it towards the principal so you don't accrue any more interest, because what we have to understand is interest is accruing every single day.
And the reason they don't want to do that is because of the interest that's accruing. So they want to keep putting it on as a monthly.
That's right. They want to just put it to a monthly payment so it doesn't affect their balance. They don't want your balance to shrink. The smaller your
Works against
balance,
them.
the less interest. Now, the bigger your balance, the more interest we pay. So it's in their best interest to keep our balance as big as they can.
Are you able to, like, say you're writing a check and you're sending the check in, are you able to say apply to principal only?
Yes. So,
Will they do that?
So what I suggest is you put a note on your
okay.
check. So get a little sticky note,
yeah.
post-it note, and put on there, please apply X amount towards the principal of this credit card balance.
Good to know.
And then you sign it with the date.
And they are supposed to do that.
And they're supposed to do that.
But then, of course, check your next month's statement.
And that's
to
the
make
next
sure.
thing. That is absolutely the next thing, is go online and check to see what they did with that payment to ensure that it went through as a principal-only payment.
Okay. And as one more time, as you said, if they didn't, get on the phone, ask to speak to a manager. Don't just talk to a customer service rep. Get to somebody with authority.
Yes.
That can.
Because those customer service reps are trained to brush you off and like, oh, it's okay, you know, your payment, you don't need to make payments, so you have a couple free months. And they're not really authorized to apply it.
The danger in that too is if you're thinking, I got a couple free months, you forget about time. And all of a sudden now you're late with your next payment because you haven't had to make payments for 2 or 3 months.
That's right, you get out of sync.
Right.
And the more out of sync we are, the less likely we are to be on time for the next payment, which now has more interest and late fees, sometimes over balance fees. So all these fees add up and it adds to the principal balance, which now increases the amount of interest we pay. So I mean, this is a huge hole that we dig ourselves. So that's why I say get out of it as quick as we possibly can.
Okay, but on the flip side, credit card is not bad.
Absolutely not. Credit cards are not bad at all.
If you manage it well.
I love credit cards. In fact, I teach people to use credit cards, but use them properly, because if you use them properly, it could be a tremendous benefit for you. For example, here's how I use a credit card.
Good.
I put everything on it.
Okay.
Now that's counterintuitive to what a lot of people are saying and talking about, but here's what I do. I put my groceries, I put my gas, my cell phone bill, I go to the post office, stamps, I go out to eat. If that restaurant doesn't take a credit card, I'm on to the next one.
Oh, okay.
Why? Here's why. Number one is I pay that credit card off in full at the end of the grace period. So I pay 0 interest. But during that time, so usually a credit card will give you about 30 days during your cycle, right? Your billing cycle. You can charge up to your available limit.
Right.
After that closes, they send us a credit card statement, but they give us a grace period.
Okay.
Average grace period for credit cards will be around 15 to 20 days.
Wow, okay.
So now we get all this extra time to utilize our money to benefit us. So the money that we would have been pulling out of our checking account to pay these bills, now we can use to make us more money or save us more money in another account, and then we pull it out to pay that credit card off in full 1 or 2 days before the grace period ends.
So you're using the credit card for you to earn interest now instead of for them to earn interest.
Yes, and guess what? I get all the free perks, right? The miles or the cash back, the rewards.
So true.
And then here's the other thing that I love, is I get to track my spouse.
Oh, shame on you. She's probably really good.
She's great, but on the statement they show you his and hers, and you can see where you're spending, right?
Well, especially
it's called accountability.
Especially for you when you're budgeting, you literally see what you spent on coffee or what you spent on groceries, what you spent. You can literally see it instead of the cash here, cash there.
We use that as our detailed budget. Our credit card statements, we try to never use cash, because most people we can't keep track of it.
Right, it goes so fast.
It just goes, and we spent money here and there, but how do you have accounting for it? You don't. But on a credit card, everything is detailed, tracked, and you get the additional insurance coverage on the products you purchase through a credit card.
True.
So it's
well, as long as
useful.
you are diligent enough and responsible enough to say, okay, I can charge up to this much because at the end of the month I will have this much to pay it.
Right now, so before you start using the credit card, and like I am, caution.
Thank you.
You need to have a budget. You need to know 2 things: what's coming in and what's going out, so you can see what's left over, knowing that everything will be covered, and you got to stick within that budget to make it work. If not, you might get too credit card swipe happy, as we call it, and then you'll get yourself into more debt. So the budget precedes the credit card use.
Okay. What are your thoughts? You shop at different stores. It could be any time of the year, and they all want you to sign up for their credit card because Mr. Aquina, you can get a discount if you sign up today. On your purchase today, you can get X amount off.
Right.
What do you think?
We all get hit up with that.
What a
Hey,
deal, right?
Did you get our credit card? If you sign up for our credit card, you get 10% off your purchase today.
What a
right?
deal. Get it.
What a day. They're not ever talking about the interest rates, the fees that it will incur every single year on this card. They're just trying to entice you to get that first card because they know that if we make that purchase, that we're going to pay way more in interest than they would have given us in a discount. So what I say is no.
Thank you very much.
No, thank you. I am fine. I have enough credit cards. And we really only need 1 or 2 credit cards at the
True.
most. That's it. We don't need all these other things.
True. Right. Because many cards are universal and you don't have to worry
Stay
about
away, stay away, stay away.
that. Okay. Now, what about, so now we're stressed and we still have, we've opened the statement, we've had the courage to open the statement, look at it, and now we're saying, how are we going to pay this off? We don't have the money to do this. Let's call our bank and take out a loan. What do you think?
Okay, so that's called a consolidation loan.
Okay.
They're okay if you're in a tight situation. I always recommend trying to figure out how to pay that off first, if you can, through your budget and the extra money, being tight on your budget, applying it to that debt, paying it off. But if you have to, then you go in and negotiate with your bank at a lower rate, what we call a consolidation loan. Okay. And what they'll do is they'll wipe out that debt amount for you. If you can qualify, they're going to run your credit and all that and check your work history. But if you can qualify, they'll usually wipe it out. So it's moving one debt to the other.
Exactly.
And the only way it's going to be beneficial is if the rate is lower.
Yes.
Now, that doesn't end the game there, because we still have the debt.
Interest
We
rate
still have the
and
debt, and
interest.
we're paying interest. So we now still need to do the same thing with this new consolidation loan, is pay it off.
Okay.
And put a plan together to pay it off as quickly
So
as possible.
take a consolidation loan, not a personal loan. Is it the same?
It could be considered the same.
Okay.
But I would look at the interest rates and the term of the loan. You know, what is the rate that you're giving me? Well, how long is it? Is this a fixed rate for how long? And all, is there fees?
Is it a good idea to shop at different institutions?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. I always say.
I mean, just because you have your account at one bank, you don't necessarily have to stick with that one.
No, you don't. You don't. I always suggest to people that they shop around at 3 different places: a bank, a credit union, and maybe some other financial institution to get different views.